What is up, sports bettors? It's Matt Modi here with OddsJam, coming to you to provide my favorite yes run slash no run first inning bet for tomorrow. NRFI, YRFI bets are the most fun bets in baseball because your bet is decided in the first inning. You don't need to worry about sweating out an entire game. You will literally know within the first 6 outs whether your bet hit or not. So, pretty fun stuff. Of course, all of the bets that I find, I go to OddsJam, I go to their positive expected value page, and I kind of go from there. So I was looking at the page. I kept the recommended filters on to see if there was a play that qualified for the recommended filters, because I knew if it did, it would be a sharp, mathematically profitable bet that would be good. Long story short, anything that shows up on the recommended filters is going to qualify for all of the best practices that you've ever heard us talk about when positive expected value betting. Market width is going to be tight. It's going to be an outlier when compared across all of the sports books. It's going to hit all of the good stuff, all of the high notes for positive EV betting. And I found one on Caesars Sportsbook in the Mariners versus Guardians game. So this one is a yes run first inning in the Mariners versus Guardians. So it's plus 110 odds on Caesars. With the VIG removed, the pricing that we have as the no vig odds you see here are at plus 106. So this, looking at my unit sizing, it's telling me to put about 0.45% of my bankroll on it. So this is going to be about a half unit play for me. I'm just going to round this up to $50, place bet, and everything is all set there. Now let me just add this to my bet tracker. Tracking your bets is incredibly important, whether you're a sports bettor, if you're doing it for fun, whatever you're doing. It's really, really important to be tracking your bets. So I definitely recommend doing so. And looking at this play, so there's a couple reasons why I like it. Number one, of course, if it shows up on the positive EV page, I know it's going to be a good bet. But if we're going to look at some of the characteristics that I look for, market width, 16 cents, check. Market width is the column here on the far right you see, is a way in which we can measure confidence in what the OddsJam line is pricing it at. Everybody knows the OddsJam line is pulled from the sharpest sports book in the world. So the market width, it just measures the difference between both sides of the line. 7 plus 9 equals 16, giving this bet 16 cents in market width. The reason why we look at that and why it's important is because the logic is the closer these two numbers are together equals more confidence in what Pinnacle, the sportsbook that is these odds are pulled from, the more confident in what they are pricing these odds at. And the more confident they are in what they're pricing their odds at, the less likely they are to move. Odds are always going to be constantly changing, but with a tight market like this, you run less of a risk of that happening. And it just means that the sportsbook, in this case, again, Pinnacle, has less of a hold on the market. The VIG is kind of what the hold is what I'm referring to. It shows how much they are charging on a specific play. The lower the market width equals lower VIG percentage, all that good stuff. And this specific bet is actually an ARB to Pinnacle, an ARB to the sharpest sportsbook in the world. An arbitrage opportunity just means you could theoretically bet both sides of it because of the odds. So plus 110 and minus 109. You could place a wager on each side of this bet and guarantee a profit. Whenever there is an opportunity, when there is an arbitrage opportunity specifically, that means one of the books has this line mispriced. Of course, in a perfect world, sportsbooks would never have a scenario where you could place bets on both sides in order to profit. It's not what they want to do. So if there's ever a situation in which you do see an arbitrage opportunity, that means one of those books has this line mispriced. In this case, it is the Caesars side. The over runs in the first inning has this one mispriced. So that's why another reason why this is such a profitable, a sharp betting opportunity. All in all, it equates to a profit margin of 1.92%. This percent number here is your percent expected value, can also be viewed as your profit margin or the edge you hold over the sportsbook. Basically, this number is calculated from the no vig odds, the difference between the no vig odds, which again is plus 106 here, and the line of the book that we are betting it at, which in this case is plus 110. This percent in these no vig odds are calculated from a weighted average from thousands and thousands of bets that we have back tested. The OddsJam engineers have back tested to give a weighted average of a bunch of different sports books and how sharp they are. Pinnacle, which is the OddsJam line, still the sharpest sports book in the world, but instead of using just Pinnacle, we are now looking at the holistic betting market and seeing what other sharp sports books have it priced at. So that's why, if you've noticed, the percents are a little off. It's because we're calculating them differently, but in a good way. It doesn't mean that previous bets that were positive EV to Pinnacle are no longer sharp, are no longer profitable. It's not the case. These are just profitable across an even wider range of books and will limit your variance in the long run. So placing bets from the recommended filters is something that will limit your variance in the long run. So we're about 3 weeks into it. In a typical sports betting fashion, the first week went really well. I was up $900. The next week, not so good. It was down about 550 and up a little bit this week, about $100, but I still have some bets pending for tonight that are looking good. So depending on how those shake out, it could end up being an even better week as of right now. Obviously, still a couple days to go. But all in all, using the recommended filters is something that will almost guarantee you a profit in the long run. Just give yourself time and accept that variance. It's just the nature of sports betting. But using the recommended filters is kind of a brainless way where you can just lock in all of these betting opportunities. And like I said, guarantee a profit. So all in all, yes, run first inning in the Mariners versus Guardians. I like to look at the pitching matchup just to kind of see where things shake out. Admittedly, admittedly a pretty good pitching matchup here with Tristan McKenzie going against Marco Gonzalez. But while that is definitely part of it, I will always trust the math. I will trust the odds 10 times out of 10. So in this case, the plus 110 odds on Caesars, sharp, profitable bet. This is my yes run first inning bet for tomorrow. Again, yes run first inning in the Guardians at the Mariners game tomorrow. Plus 110 odds. Get this on Caesars. And that is going to be it. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any feedback, please let me know. Positive, negative. All feedback is welcomed and accepted and appreciated. And then, of course, if you could do the good stuff like subscribe, comment, share with your friends, all that good stuff helps me out a ton. But that's all I got for you. So I appreciate you guys watching and have a good one.